Boy, you got some white hairs.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Mad crazy.
The white hairs just come out from overnight, dog. It doesn't make sense. Like you wake up one day, you're like, damn, I got white hair here. Me and you, we don't really got a lot of hair on the top of our head no more, so we don't even
That's
got to worry.
why I got the baldy. I got the baldy going. It's crazy out here.
I told myself I need to wait till I have a kid. So when I finally have my kid, and when I get older, they look at old pictures. They're like, "Dad, you had hair." I was like, "Yeah, I had hair." Before. But yeah, man, it's been a long time. Well, I haven't recorded in a while because I've been trying to navigate through life. Been a while since we chatted about basketball for sure.
Yeah.
I was trying to make this more of like a every 3 weeks thing, but life be like this is a tough time of the year. Everybody's focused with work, end of the year, you know what I'm saying, holiday season.
Yeah, because now we got Christmas coming up, so everybody's gonna be trying to like get gifts and everything and be stressed out, and that's a lot, man.
Yep, and if you were out on the road today, I really don't understand how Black Friday is still a busy time of the year. Like, wouldn't people just want to just buy stuff online and call it a day? Like, Amazon works overtime these days. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But people be on the road.
I heard those people outside like at Best Buy and everything. And that's crazy to me. I would have been buying
Crazy.
everything off the crib.
Seriously, like, what the hell? But this is Sports Talk with DesPain, for sure. You know what I'm saying? This is Mr. Vincent of the Mr. Vincent podcast. And as I always tell people, he's a multifaceted individual with a bunch of different things he does. So plug in with my guy. We're gonna get his plug in at the end of the episode, but plug in with my guy. He has a lot of different things he does. He has a newsletter, photography, his own podcast, it doesn't matter. My man's got everything. But I appreciate you for coming on the podcast as always. But we're gonna talk some NBA basketball. I think we've gone through what's this? Oh, is it officially a full month? Oh, full 2 months of full month of basketball so far.
Probably like a month and a week.
Yeah, a month and a week because the season started like the 22nd or something like that. It's about a month, yeah, and which is crazy because I feel like it feels like it's been 2 months because there's been so many games. I feel like they've been loading a lot of games for a lot of teams. I know the Celtics was one of the teams that played the most games in the short period of time to start the season, and then of course we got the Cup, the NBA Cup, that's ongoing right now. Today's actually the last day of group play. For those who don't know, those who don't care, it's group play today. With that being said, so we're in year number 3 of the NBA Cup, previously known as in-season tournament. How do you feel about it still? Is there any feel to it? Like, is this something you really give a goddamn about?
No, not really. Honestly, I don't really understand how it works and everything in terms of like how like teams like progress based on like the knockout round thing. Confuses me and everything. I just watch the games. I don't really see any difference between this and a regular season game. I know that this is really brought in to make the NBA season matter more in a time where football's king, essentially. It's an afterthought the NBA is around the time of the year. So they wanted to bring more excitement to the league, add this in-season tournament. You see they go all out with making some hideous courts like styles and everything. But it's funny because I heard Stan Van Gundy recently on the podcast, on Zach Lowe's podcast. He was talking about he thinks that it's great for the league, that what he sees, because he be doing he's on Amazon Prime, so on Friday nights when the cup games go on, he sees it with his own eyes that like they're competing a lot harder than they usually did prior to the in-season tournament taking place. So anybody who doubt that this is good for the league, they were wrong. But for me, like, it's just another game for me.
Yeah, I mean, and it is just another game. Like, majority of the games are just another regular season game until you get to the finals, I think. That doesn't count towards anything unless you win. You get an extra win, I guess, towards the season if it has to determine you're in. So if you go to the finals, and I believe if you win, your win could go towards your total if it has to determine like you making the playoffs, some shit like that. I don't know. It's interesting. But with all that being said, I haven't heard that quote from Van Gundy, but I believe it.
Yeah.
Part of it too, the league is a good majority of the league is becoming very much more internationally based now. Like with our best players being international players, and they're used to these things. They're used to a lot of these like tournaments with the Euro League and playing for their countries and all that stuff. They get up for the Olympic Games no matter what. They don't even care if they're hurting. They're gonna play those Olympic fucking like that's the one thing with the U.S. We have luxury. Like we're throwing the B team to the qualifying games, right? But they'll put their A team in there. They're trying to smack everybody. They don't care. They're sick of the U.S. winning. So when you see a team like, for example, the Bucks are playing right now, the Knicks. The Bucks haven't had Giannis for almost 2 weeks, and he's now playing. For what reason? Because he wants to be involved in this cup stuff. He wants to be in the cup. He wants to play in this. He's passionate about the cup.
Yeah, I'm about to say like he's like a guy who's easily motivated, who always played with a high engine, high motor. So it makes sense that he's like wants to be out there and play and compete.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like from my understanding, I believe they don't. Oh, they put their records in there now. So they were for a long time. They were undefeated in the cup. Well, at least what's his name, Darvin Ham was undefeated in the cup until recently.
Oh yeah. So I think it's like now was 16-1 in cup play. That's crazy.
Yeah. So right now it's the Bucks next. There's a few teams that are playing that need a win to advance, and there's some teams that could qualify for the wild card. That's the part I don't understand the most, the wild card thing. Like from what you just said, that part gets a little confusing. But from based on what he's saying, I can see it being something where people are taking it more seriously because the Wizards won the other night. They smacked the shit out of who did they play the other night? I can't recall who they played. They because they can still qualify to move on. I think if they win today, they smacked the shit out of fucking Atlanta. They beat them by like 40. CJ McCollum took that shit personally. So it's like it's one of those games, man. Like some of the bad teams are the ones they're talking about that really take it the most serious. Because they don't have nothing. They know they're gonna be tanking. They're gonna tank, but why not just play up for this game? Let's go play up. Let's show that all eyes on us kind of because all the sports books are involved because they got every game on. There's multiple games on at that same time. Like today, I think every single team is playing today besides a few. But yes, I mean, for me, I think it's a great idea, but I think it needs to be a little bit closer towards the mid part of the season versus the beginning part of the season. I know why the NBA is
I can
doing
agree.
it. Yeah, I feel like it's something they could do just before the All-Star break and find a way to make the finals mean something for the All-Star game or whatever, or better yet, make it part of the All-Star weekend. I don't know. Like because you're losing the NBA is about to lose the All-Star weekend. They're gonna lose it now. Because the NFL is gonna most likely have the Super Bowl that weekend now.
They're gonna move it probably the week before.
But that's a disadvantage for them though.
It's because it's usually on a 3-day weekend, on a holiday weekend.
Exactly. Yep. I mean, maybe they do it maybe they push it a month late earlier, MLK weekend, because
MLK
that's
weekend.
which is a very important day for a lot of for all of us, obviously. You know what I'm saying? The league's about equality. Is a majority of the league is African American, Black, Caribbean, Black, you name it. So NBA needs to figure it out because you're losing every holiday to the NFL, and you're trying to find ways to appeal to the American fan base, but I think they I don't think here's the thing we need to understand. These leagues like the NFL and the NBA, they're not really trying to appease us anymore. They already reeled us in. We're gonna complain regardless. They're trying to get the other countries involved.
Yeah, you said with the NFL going to London or Germany and everything, how they've been
Yep.
doing the last several seasons, trying to really
Yep.
expand the game. That makes sense.
And the NBA does a little bit of that too. They'll have a couple games that go overseas, or better yet, the rumor is, and which is most likely going to happen, is they're working on a European NBA league, which makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of professional basketball players that are going to the Euro League. The NBA knows where the money's at. They know how to get that money. If they could create a league of 12 teams and the guys that were perceived as washed could go over there and play and bring the eyes over there, they'll do it because it's a popular game. It's probably the second most popular
Sport in the
sport
world,
after
right?
after soccer.
Yeah, I think it is. I feel like it should
Yeah,
be number two right now.
yeah. It's the NFL. Football is not going to be popular in Europe. Like it's
Never.
fun, it's cool, it's whatever. It's not popular. It's fine. I just seen they have a European league over there now. So, but it's not going to be popular. Like the
Well,
CFL's been around for much longer, and
not
they
popular
haven't been popular.
worldwide. Maybe in Europe, not worldwide though. just because it's expensive, kind of violent. It's not going to
Yeah,
appeal.
and then the thing is like the NFL is around the time of the Champions League and Premier League. Like, why? Which one would I prefer? I would prefer watching my team, my soccer team, my football team versus the American football team. You know what I mean? So the NFL is trying, and they're gonna keep doing it because it's gonna work. They still get in our eyes to watch games at 9 a.m. So that's what's gonna work. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm not against the NBA Cup, but I did see there's going to be some changes. There's going to be for sure some changes. The whole court situation is going to be some changes on that because your Lakers,
Yeah, I just seen it today.
they voiced their opinion, they voiced their grievances, and they removed the need of the. I don't know what kind of material to put on the parquet. I don't know because how is it that they're the ones that are having the issue? Which I mean, I don't think they're the only ones, but they're the only ones who spoke up. But I get why they do it. And that's the thing people need to understand. There's always a reason for something. Companies do feedback with a lot of people. They do a lot of analytic stuff. They do a lot of back end stuff to find out what appeals to the people. And these vibrant colors do appeal to people because they'll look at it. Because if you were just like walking around, if you're at a bar or whatever, and you just looked up, and you're like, why is it bright ass color? And you're like, oh, this is an NBA Cup game. That's their point. And it makes some sense, but they need to find a better way to make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna appeal to nobody. People make jokes about it. They made fun of the Bucks. They made fun of your Lakers for winning it. Like they don't care. People don't care. They just don't care in America. They want you to just give us the games.
Facts. I agree with that. Give me the game, man.
So but yeah, I also wanted to this episode's not gonna be too crazy long, but I wanted to talk about a few talking points and see where you are with like how you feel about the season so far. But let's go right into that. Like, how do you feel about the season so far? Like, we obviously see the usual suspects are up in the standings. The usual players are up in there, living up to their standards as well. What's been some highlights to the season to you so far, and what's been some lowlights?
Well, the highlight is just what I thought was the obvious when I made a video and I posted on my YouTube and my IG, just talking about who I think is going to win the championship. And I thought that I basically said that it's going to be a two-team race. I'm sorry, a two-team race between the Thunder and the Nuggets, and whoever wins that is winning the chip. And we're like a month into the season, and I think I was actually on the money with that one. OKC looks like they're in a tear by themselves. I think they're going to crack 70 wins. Can they break Golden State's record? They can. I don't know if that's happening, but I think they're going to hit 70. So that'll make them the third team ever to hit 70. Denver is just amazing too with Nikola Jokic, what he's doing on a night and night out basis. And they just look like they're the best team, the best two teams in basketball. And then it's just going to get a relatively boring final because I don't see anybody in the East who can really compete with those teams in a 7-game series based on what we're seeing so far in the East. So that's the highlight I think right there. And also too, there's how many like great like and the MVP race is probably one of the best I think in recent memories. Just all the like the numbers that guys are putting up, the impact they're having on games, like with Joker, SGA, Luca, and prior to him getting hurt, Wemby. I'll put him in that group too. So that's just really highlighting like the talent that we have in this league. The fact that the league's going to be in good hands, even when the likes of like LeBron, KD, and Steph fade away. Still got a lot of players that are going to be here to hold the league down. So that's a highlight. A low light, I would say, is this. Damn, I would say the Clippers are really like it's just embarrassing. Coming off the conference in the summertime with funneling money to circumvent the cap, Kawhi. Then now they're here with an atrocious record. I think they won like 4 or 5 games so far in the season, and their pick next year goes to OKC. So OKC can have a top 3, top 5 pick next season in a draft that's supposed to be like one of the best in the next 20 years, in the last 20 years. So that's just crazy. Then you add the fact that damn the SGA trade still haunting them still to this day. So yeah,
That's a shame.
low like yeah. Right there.
Yeah, for me, I think one of the highlights for me is seeing like teams like the Pistons competing. Actually, the Pistons is my highlight all in all. Like I know we had our episode to start the season. I talked about like the Knicks, Cleveland, those Orlando, teams like that in the East, Milwaukee. Only when Giannis is healthy, Milwaukee.
Yeah,
Like there'll be
absolutely.
moments when there'll be moments when they actually play well together. You know what I'm saying? Without him, that's an anomaly sometimes, like we know that team is all about Giannis, bro. But Ryan Rollins is stepping up. He's going to be looked at as most one of the most improved players in this league. Miles Turner's kind of getting his feet underneath him right now. There's a lot of turnover, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of turnover, but the Detroit Pistons are definitely my highlight of the season so far because they're not even, there was games where they didn't have, I remember there was a game, I forget who they played. They had none of their starting five playing, and they somehow found a way to win. So that only tells me you're being coached up to be prepared for these games.
Yeah,
You
big
understand
assessment
what
made
I'm
the
saying?
coach. It's
Exactly.
good.
And not only that, like the good majority of the East is hurt. Like there's a bunch of injuries. Like, you know, we just talked about Giannis, he just got back. The Knicks are missing
Brunson still.
OG OG's once again. Who'd you say?
Is it Brunson still hurt?
Oh no, he's back. He's been back for a little bit. He got the Steph Curry ankle bracelet on now. You know what I'm saying? But they've been hurt, and Josh Hart's playing hurt. Like that team's always hurt. You know, my little prediction for finals appearance for them, it's gonna look kind of shaky because they don't come out, they don't play healthy. I mean, I guess you could say they're healthy because they always say if you're playing, you're healthy. The Cavs, another team that
Yeah.
hasn't been fully healthy. You know what I'm saying? The Hawks, they had a spurt where they won a bunch of games, but they have no Trae Young. Paulo is out for the Magic. Obviously, we know Jason Tatum's out for the season, or damn near half to three quarters of the season for the Celtics. There's not a lot of healthy teams, but
Do you?
that's not. Mm-hmm.
You want? I want to ask you a question after.
No, I was gonna say. All I was gonna say was that it's still kind of not an excuse because OKC hasn't had Jalen Williams, and he's coming back tonight, which is
Yeah.
insane to me that they've gone this whole first quarter of the year just losing one game, and probably their best two-way player. And this is not a knock to SGA because I think he's a great two-way player as well. But
He's a better two-way
Jalen,
player than him.
right, and he's younger. He's younger than him, and they like not having him. And then there was spurts where they had no Caruso, no Dort. I don't know how they do it. They don't switch up. You know what I'm saying? I don't like excuses about that from any team. Oh, we didn't have this guy, man. We didn't have this guy. He was hurt. Oh, Ant was hurt this week. You know what I'm saying? We didn't win no game. It doesn't matter. You get coached up. You guys play professional basketball. Next man up. Get up to the court. Do something. Somebody got to score 20. Somebody got to
Yeah,
replace
man.
that production. You know what I'm saying? But in the East, I don't know what it is. Sometimes when these guys lose their best player, they just lose their whole entire identity. And I'm like, how? Like, it's only for a short period of time, unless you're the Indiana Pacers where you actually lost Halliburton.
And,
He's
and,
a
and you
big
let
part of
Miles
what you
and
do.
you let Miles Turner walk in free agency. So
That too. People forget about that part. That's a huge loss. That was your
big time loss.
franchise guy for a long time
Yeah, like
before
10 plus
Halliburton
seasons.
pulled up. Yeah, man. Like he was your defensive stopper, and you lost
Spread the
him.
court too.
Yeah, man. But
Now I was
no, what
gonna
was the
ask you,
question?
did you attribute all these injuries to like they're talking about is the season too long? We seen Golden State sit out, I guess about like sit the whole starting five, I think, in a back to back against the Heat, and people are like
Mm-hmm.
attributing all these injuries, these lower extremity injuries to the style of play, too many games. That's been a talking point early on in the season. I was just asking, like, do you think that that's the reason why we're seeing all these injuries?
You know what? Honestly, I think injury's always been a part of the game. I mean, it's always obviously it's professional sports, but I think even back in the day there was a lot of injuries we just didn't know because we didn't have social media. We didn't we You have to find out from a newspaper. But not only that, the players back in the day, they weren't getting paid 40, 30, 40, 50 million dollars a season.
Yeah,
Aside from Michael Jordan, who had to fight and plead and try to almost beat up Jerry Reinsdorf just to get 30 million for a season,
mm-hmm.
these guys weren't getting paid buku bucks like that. They took pride into putting the sneakers on and coming to a basketball game, even if they have to limp over there, because they knew how important it was to them. I'm not saying these guys are not they're not prioritizing their availability. I think their problem is that it's not even their problem. It's the owners too. Let's not forget. The owners are protecting investments. They know what brings people to the seats, but they're doing themselves a disservice. Because when you take those people off when you're going to the coaching staff or you're talking to your coaching staff and telling them like, hey man, we might have to sit this guy and back to back. We need him healthy, blah, blah, boom. The person that, like, let's say you and I was to go to LA to watch the Lakers, you know what I'm saying, or the Clippers, because our favorite players over there, and then they sat him out. I'm heated. I might not spend another dollar to go to a game. That's how it is now. People are scared to go to a game now because God forbid you go to a game and your favorite player is not playing. Like
Yeah.
I must say, Jaylen Brown, I give him all the grace in the world. He came into the season with
Banged up.
he strained his hamstring, and he actually, he had the knee situation over the offseason. This brother has been playing every single goddamn game, and he's averaging like he's having the highest average of his career, obviously, because he doesn't have to share the ball like that. But the team is still. That's why I told people they shouldn't tank. If you believe he is a top 15 player, that's still gonna be a very much of a good team in the East. Point blank period. So I give him a lot of grace because that brother is suiting it up. He's not making any excuses. He's going out there and getting it done. But not a lot of guys in the league have that mentality because they're like, I need to protect my body. There's a back to back. I need to be ready for this back to back. I need to be, what I'm saying? Like, their best players just sat. Let's sit our best player. Like that. This is not how this shit works. This is not how this shit works. Like, it's not fair. You think I have to? We don't. You and I, as working men in this great country of ours, not 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever you work. You think we have the luxury of our manager come to say, yo, B-man, do yourself a favor. Just sit this one out today. Just sit it out. We got somebody else who could sit it out. We don't need you today. You know what I'm saying? No, we don't have that luxury. We have to go to work. In order for us to not be at work, we have to take time off and buy. If we have the time off that pays us, then we're good. If we don't, it's an L.
Yeah, which is why the average fan can't relate to the NBA players and their mentality when they
Right.
only
These
play like
dudes are
certain
still
games.
getting paid.
Yeah.
These dudes got a guaranteed contract. I ain't guaranteed for nothing. They could get me out of here tomorrow from not showing up. So it's like, nah, like, to answer your question, I don't think the season's too long. Is that these guys have a luxury. They have a luxury. And even LeBron knows this because LeBron's been in the league for damn too long. He came in the league when there were still working men in the league. You know what I'm saying? But he's adapting to this new player mentality stuff. Him, Harden. No, I shouldn't even say Harden. Harden, I give him grace too. Harden, with all the shit that's going on in LA with the Clippers, that
He's actually
motherfucker,
balling out.
he's balling out, and he does not really sit out games. He doesn't.
Yeah, he
Even
doesn't.
when he really doesn't. Russ Westbrook, Kevin Durant does, but I get it. I get the Kevin Durant
Well,
stuff
he
because
hit the torn Achilles. He's been having some
yeah,
little
and he has
injuries.
yeah,
That
he
could
has
cost him.
right. He had lingering knee stuff. He's 7-footer. I can't expect a 7-footer to play 82 games. That's unrealistic. But a guy the size of like Jalen Brunson, I need you. You got to be out there, man. Like if I look at Jason Kidd's, what I'm saying, yearly average of how many games he played, I'm sure he averaged about close to 80 games, and he probably played hurt. So it's like that's just the thing, man. Like, is it too long? No. Should it start later? Yes, because I think if the NBA wants more success and these guys to want to stick around, maybe you start the season like close to the end of the NFL season. If you really don't want to
Chris,
compete with
or around Christmas, start the season like a week before Christmas. That'd
dude,
be good.
yo, Christmas would be actually even more fire if you started the season that day. You lost Christmas. Nobody really like you lost it. You lost Christmas. Let's keep it a beat. You lost it. You lost Christmas. Nobody really cares about it no more. Nobody. We can't even watch Celtics Lakers. That should be always a Christmas game. You know what I'm saying? We lost Christmas. In my opinion, like if you push the season forward, you can either have it start on Christmas, or you can start on Christmas. Don't get me wrong. You can start on Christmas, start the cup on MLK if you want to keep the cup early, and then push the All-Star game to like what I'm saying, March, and
Yeah.
then the season finals is in August, just before the NFL season starts. Keep it 82 or cut it down to 72. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing with me is that it doesn't even matter if they cut the season short. These dudes are still gonna low manage, dog. That's
Yes,
it.
they'll find a way to. Some players will find a way to still complain and try to
Right.
like work the system and everything.
Exactly. And you watched that Jordan interview, right?
Yeah,
Come on, man. Michael Jordan told us what we need to know. He's like, he put it straight forward. He's like, you see that guy in the nosebleeds that just spent his whole every dollar that he worked for to go watch me bust his team's ass? I'm out here to play so he can see that. You know what I'm saying? That was Michael Jordan. He played at 82. He wanted to come to the opposing team's arena to show up because that might be the only time he shows up there. Like that's why I don't know how many times Kobe played in Boston. I'm sure he played it almost every single game that he was healthy
yeah,
enough, like healthy
yeah.
enough where he was limping, like where his like ligaments was intact. The Lakers only played the Celtics once in Boston, and vice versa. There should be no reason these players should be like, oh, I'm going to take this night off. Because I remember there was a game where the Celtics Lakers played, and most of the Lakers sat out.
Can't remember
Remember
that.
that game? No, that was the game when Austin Reeves went crazy on the Celtics a couple years ago.
Yeah. That was in LA. That was last year. Yeah, I remember that. That was last season in LA.
No, that was last season, but there was another season when Reeves, I think, busted Celtics in Boston.
Yeah. Sorry, that's like that last season. Yeah. A season or two ago. Yeah.
Yep. So that's my point. I hate that shit. I hate that those guys do it. Now they want to scream, "Oh, this season's too long," or da da da. It doesn't matter, bro. You're a professional basketball player. You're playing a rec. There's people playing it for free out here at the Y, and you're trying to tell me you can't even get up tonight for a night game. You know what I'm saying? Ice you fucking knee, bro. I ain't trying to hear that shit. Get some ice, dog. I ain't trying to hear that. I get it. Professional athletes get hurt, dog. I get that shit. Like, and better yet, like once their careers are over, they're gonna have lingering effects of that playing it. But that's the sport you played. You get to retire at 40 years old, the latest. You got the luxury of life, bro. You could do whatever you want once the career's over. If you did it right. If you're telling me 10 years of your life is just to play this kid sport and getting paid for that shit, millions, you better get up and want to play, dog. That's just what it is, in my opinion. That at least you feel me.
Yeah. Nah.
I
Yeah. I
mean,
mean,
how do you feel? How do you feel?
I think the season you could probably cut it down 10 to 15 games, but I do think it's long in a sense, and from a consumer standpoint, I do feel like in today's age, I don't know if the 82 game model works just because people have such a sort of attention span. I think a big reason why the NFL is so successful because there's only like 17 games. You play
Mm-hmm.
mostly one day a week on a Sunday for the most part. Now I'm not saying the NBA got to go like 17 games or like something like that. But I think that's what a luxury that the NFL had because it's just every game feels like it's important. Where the NBA goes from like what October to April, so it
That's
kind of
fair.
drags and everything. People start picking.
That's
People
fair.
really start. It starts getting momentum, and people start really caring about it post Super Bowl and everything. So yeah, I just think it's a little bit too long. Definitely for a consumer standpoint, but about 10 to 15 games they could cut off for the players' sake
That's
that
a
way.
great point. That is actually a great point you're making too, because we are living in a society where like people
Short
have
attention spans.
short attention span. They prefer to be on the mobile device to see everything. Um, You know what I'm saying? Like you could ask somebody tomorrow, like, yo, do you know what the Celtics record is? And they probably don't know. They have to check their phone. They can't keep up. You know what I'm saying? The Suns already played 18 games. They're 10-8. A lot of people don't know that. They might not know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not expecting people to be have a sports almanac or anything, but it's like they don't pay attention to that shit. They don't look at the nuance of everything. Whereas the NFL, people get more into the weeds of that because they know all the advanced statistics because they could talk about it for a whole week because the game is on a Sunday or a Monday or Thursday. The NBA, if you're either playing on Monday, then you have a couple games, days off, and you're in there on a fucking Thursday. You might have back to back, so now you're playing on a Friday, and then you know what I'm saying. And within a week, you could be at 2 to 3, 4 games, and you could go from being you could either win all four of them or go 1-3, 2-2. That could fluctuate how your season looks. You know what I'm saying? Because even with like Detroit's big winning streak, a lot of people like it just went right past people's face. Like I didn't even realize it. Oh, they won 14. They won 13 games. Wow. So be it. Cool. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? It should be a talking point. It should be talked about. They don't talk about it. You know what I mean? Because it's not. They don't have a Steph Curry. They don't have a Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a LeBron James there. They don't have a Jason Tatum. They don't have those type of guys. They have a Kate Cunningham who is a rising star, but he's not none of those dudes. So that's another problem the league has. They just have too many of those type of guys in the league. They got way too many, and the OGs don't go away. They stay. The NFL, at least you can say, okay, we see Drake May, he's coming up. We see Jordan Love, he's coming up. We see the Eagles won the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. Like there's different names every year that you can be like, oh, this is different. It's exciting. You know what I'm saying? Sam Darnold went to the Seattle Seahawks and he brought the same success he had with Minnesota. You can see those different things and be excited about that shit. NBA, it kind of is the same shit every year. The Wizards still suck. You feel me? Like Brooklyn Nets, they suck still. It's just not good. No good basketball. Most of the league could be bad basketball too, and that's the thing. It kind of sucks. But yeah, man, I don't know if they're gonna change that shit too. Those TV deals are predicated on the fact that there's 82 games.
That's facts. And the fact owners don't want to lose any money because they lose money, the players lose money. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like that doesn't really benefit neither party from a financial
Mm-hmm.
standpoint. So
Mm-hmm.
cut back on the games.
That's it. So there's too many variables when it comes to that stuff. That's the reason why the NFL wants to get more games. They know they're gonna make the bank out of that. They're gonna make bread, and before you know it, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I had an extra playoff team." Why? Because I best believe it. I guarantee, E-Man, if this happens, hit my line immediately. I bet you, if the Chiefs miss this fucking playoffs this year, my guy, the league's gonna be like, you know what? We're thinking about adding a. If they miss it by a game, they're like, we are thinking about adding eight teams to the playoffs and give back the bye week to the second seed.
To second seed, right? Yeah.
Guarantee you, if they're gonna extend it another week, that 18, let's make it fun. We're already going deep into February this time now. They don't give a shit. They don't care about no player safety. I know they're thinking about like adding an extra bye week, which makes a lot of sense. That's fine, but they don't give a shit, bro. They want to make sure they get that money. You got Amazon, ESPN, Netflix is gonna be involved now.
Yeah.
NBC, CBS. You got all of them. You got all of them by stranglehold.
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, I forgot about them. They got some rights too.
Yep. So
Sunday
they take it.
tickets. Oh yeah. NFL Network and ESPN is together. Oh yeah. Yeah. The NFL wants that. They want all parts of that, bro. But that's the politics of sports, man. I feel bad for the NHL. They can't capitalize on none of that shit, bro. Major League Baseball is finally catching up. They got a few deals they just signed up on. They're doing
Yeah.
MLB on NBC now. They're coming back to NBC, and I think they're doing some Amazon stuff too, and
And I
Apple
think
as well.
the Game 7 of the World Series had a better rating, had more viewership than Game 7 of the NBA Finals. So that's always the plus when you beat the
Yeah,
NBA in the Game
yeah,
7.
because usually
And
that's
to
the
be
thing.
fair, Shohei Ohtani is the biggest star in baseball. You had a big
Yep,
market like LA involved.
LA.
So
Yep,
yeah.
and
And
also Toronto.
with the NBA, you had two like
Yep.
up and coming teams and small markets.
Mhm.
But still, you beat them in the rating, so that's always the plus. You can
Exactly,
always brag
but
about
and
that.
also Toronto is a major city in the world too, in a sense.
Oh yeah.
They're popular.
Absolutely.
They're like the New York of the world. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
go to Toronto. It's a big city.
Toronto.
But also with baseball too, the beauty of baseball is not even like as much people want to complain about how like what the Dodgers do and the Yankees do and all that. That's what works. The hot stove in baseball, the money spending in baseball is what's the most popular. So that's why they're more than likely going to be in a lockout because those players know better. There should be no such thing as a salary cap in baseball. It doesn't make sense. Those owners make billions of dollars. The revenue stream in baseball is insane, bro.
Yeah.
Because they play the most games, so they see the most money. They just don't have the TV deals like
Exactly.
basketball.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
wonder, would they, well, but are they up for a new TV deal? Did they already get like done all the networks they're going to
I
be
believe they
with?
I believe they already renewed with the ESPN for like a couple more years, but they
Oh,
just did some newer deals that may get them bigger deals in a few years. And I will tell you what, based on what just as you said, with Shohei's emergence as being the biggest star in in sport, they're not gonna lose. They don't want to lose out on that opportunity to have making sure that he is always on TV or players like him. I'm not saying Japanese players, but players just as good as him, like Vladimir Guerrero, Judge, you name it. Those type of guys, Skeens, Scooble, like those dudes, they don't want to miss out on that opportunity. They want people to be sure that they watch baseball. You know what I'm saying? Baseball is still America's sport. That's the one sport that is truly America's pastime. You know what I'm saying? Because it's half the year is baseball. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But it will be. We'll see. The politics of sports is changing every so often, every day, every year. Players have more big of a voice now. These owners, unless they're fans of the sport, and most of them are becoming more of. Most of these sports are having owners that are actually fans more than just investors. So we're seeing that more now. If that's the thing, if that's the what where the that's how they're angling, that means the players will always have a bigger voice than ever. And they're the ones who can change it up. Just like with us being in our jobs. In order for our jobs to be progressive, we need to give feedback so these jobs can, be aligned with us, because it may not support us today, but it's going to support people after us. Or even if we decide to retire with this company, it's going to support me. So I feel good about where I stand. My integrity, my ethics is intact. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the NBA, NFL, and NHL and MLB is at. They need to be sure they're set for the future, because it's in their right. The players deserve to be paid. They deserve to be they deserve to be paid. Owners are making billions. I don't care what anybody says to me. They deserve to be paid. When you see some low life fucking basketball player getting some millions, instead of you saying, "Damn, you giving that guy $20 million, goddamn," no, you better be like, "Yo, that's good shit, man. He worked hard for that shit. I don't care. He laced them up. That's his profession. He should get paid, because guess what? His owner just got made. He just made another billion because he's out on the court. You know what I'm saying? The only thing, my only gripe is NCAA needs to fix some shit. My only gripe. My only gripe. They need to fix it. The NIL shit's a mess. Fix
Uh,
it. Teenage boys, girls should not be jumping around, transferring all over the place. You need to give them a bit of a contract, a bit of an incentive off that contract, and they need to focus on the main goal is the education before you get, unless you're going to fully go professional after the fact. You're not even professional yet. You're still playing an amateur sport. You need to focus on why you're at that college first before you sit there and talk about, I'm not going to play for you. I want to make an extra 10 million somewhere. No. They need to fix that shit. NCAA is going to be in some lot of troubles if they don't fix it ASAP. But before I let you go, I wanted to end the episode on this is a hot topic. It's been a hot topic for like 2-3 weeks, I feel like. K-Mart, Draymond debate. What's your opinion on that situation?
So if I understand it, it all started when Kmart was saying how like Draymond's quote unquote fake tough guy because he tried to tries to like pick on who he's like tries to like get tough with. Basically, he doesn't like pick on players who he knows won't like really retaliate or react. So he kind of plays it safe. And then I think I seen Draymond was saying how basically how like he's an underachiever because he's the first round overall pick, only one All Star game, no championships. Then I seen Kmart come back, clap back, saying how like there's like 50 plus power forwards better than him in his career, better than him, and how like even when Steph Curry was out, like he's a product of Steph Curry basically. And when Curry really missed like that whole season, or basically that whole season, I think that was after KD left. The season after KD, that was probably 2019, 2020. He averaged like what 12 points, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. It's just funny just seeing like seeing like new school versus the old school. You see two guys who look at basketball different. I do think that I always said this. I think Draymond is going to be a Hall of Famer, and I think that he deserves that just for the impact that he has. Well, just the fact that Warriors team with him, Draymond, Clay, and then obviously with KD too for those 2 years. I think they're probably a top 5 team in NBA history, just from a historical standpoint. And Draymond, I think, was a very critical part of that, being like that point forward guy who was like Swiss Army knife type player. Yeah, he didn't really score a lot of points and everything. He was not to have the most hops. I'm not the fastest guy in the court, but you can watch like he's the type of player similar to Ben Wallace and Dennis Rodman, who their impact is beyond the stat sheet. You have to actually watch the game to see how much impact they have in the game. So I get that. But I do, on the same time, kind of agree with Kmart to a sense. Like, yes, in a vacuum, a lot of those guys he was not better than. I don't think he's better than them in a vacuum. But specifically for his role in Golden State, it was just like a hand and fit glove playing alongside Draymond and playing alongside Steph and Clay with the system that Steve Kerr implemented. Because before Steve Kerr got there, he was on the bench. Then when Steve Kerr came, they inserted him to start a lineup in favor
That's a very and
David
that's the
Lee.
thing.
They put him on the bench.
That's one of the most underrated things about coaching. People don't realize. People think it's like because the coaching in game is not really X's and O's. Like you are observing, you see something, you're gonna tell them like, yo, I see this. Let's do this. It's the adjustments during the game. Like unlike the NFL, you can't really do that type of adjustment during the game because it's just too much going on. Like, you can't coach individuals in that moment. In basketball, they're playing both sides, so you could kind of coach it much more fluent. But off-season work, you get to see certain things, and you're like, okay, I see this from this guy, and it's gonna make sense this way. And from my understanding from how the Golden State Warriors, what the change was is that they changed the offense to make Clay and Steph kind of like they had that run and gun type of deal, especially with Draymond like bringing the ball up and then like pretty much set like a ghost, like a little bit of a screen as he passes it off, and here's Steph, bang, three. There's Clay, bang, three. Like, and then they always had a particular type of center, like a Bogut, that was in the middle in the game as the rim protector, offensive rebound. Like they had a very great system, and that wasn't something Mark Jackson was able to implement. He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the one thing I could.
I was gonna say when Kurt took over, it was more man movement, ball movement. There's a
Yep.
lot of screen going on. Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson, if anything, you could give him props for uh opening up the floodgates for the Splash Brothers, like being able to make sure those young men know you are confident enough to shoot this ball. You know what I'm saying? Same way like Missoula with the Celtics. He kind of has that mentality like I'm gonna let y'all shoot that shot. If it's 50 of them, fuck it, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just using that as an example, but that's like if depend because he fall off like going to speaking of Missoula, he followed off with Ime. Ime's a defensive minded coach,
Yeah,
but he still has some of that same mentality. Like I want my guys to shoot that shot, but Ime wanted more of a structured half court game. Missoula, he was like, man, the more attempts, the better for us. That's what makes sense for me. Like he's a methodical guy. It's math in his head. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Ime is old school. He's more of a pop. He's like Popovich. He came from that tree. Same goes for Kerr. He's from that tree. You know what I'm saying? People need to understand like how this is how these coaches are psychos. They think about a lot of different things at one time. And that's why they can survive for a long time. Kerr, I'm just saying that was an underrated part about his hiring that people fail to understand because they want to just give all the success to the players. Like they always say, players win games, coaches lose them. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And why they say that is because a coach could make is the coaches are always going to be writing it up what to do. It's up to the players to execute it, right? The coach can't shoot. The coach can't do anything out on the court. He can just do what he does on that sideline to motivate those players. But for at the end of the day, if a coach is able to get the players up to play a fucking game, we're talking about millionaire players. He did his job. Point blank period. But did you have more to say about that situation?
well, no, I think so. I mean, I just think that it's funny seeing it play out on social media and everything. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm not gonna ever like undervalue Draymond. I think is a great asset to that specific team. I didn't know how his career would have played out. He was on a typical team. He probably wouldn't be a Hall of Famer, honestly. But I think he's deserving when he gets in. He's probably not going to be first ballot Hall of Fame, but he'll make it. He'll make it in eventually.
Yeah,
Because I think of Dennis Rodman and Ben Wallace in the Hall of Fame. He kind of have to be in there. 4 chips. I think he has one defensive player of the year, maybe two. Definitely one. I know.
one. He has
So
one. He has one.
yeah,
4 All-Star games, but
All Star game.
he's 9-time All Defensive Player,
Yeah,
and he might make. I think he might either tie the record or break the record, or tie the record of the most defensive players, some shit like that. I don't remember. He if he makes it this year, is like some historic mark or some shit like that. My only opinion on not my only opinion, but I'm not a Draymond truther. I'm a truther to role players.
yeah,
I think at the end of the day, when it comes to basketball, you do need your superstar players like a Shea, like a I'm sorry, Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Steph, all them dudes. You need those dudes because they're the equalizer. They're the killers. You know what I'm saying? But for you to have a killer, you have to have somebody to be their bodyguard. You have to have somebody to clean it up. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have when you watch the movies that have it with people who do like assassinate spy movies or whatever, like James Bond. James Bond ain't cleaning up his mess, and he's not the one setting up the
yeah,
it's somebody else. Somebody else is setting it up. Somebody's cleaning it up. Somebody is partnering up with him. It makes his job easier. When you have a role player who can make your job, like for that Pistons team in '04 to beat the Lakers, it's not because of Rip and Chauncey. They were your offensive threat. You needed Ben. You needed Sheed.
Tayshaun
You
too.
needed, you definitely needed Tayshaun Prince. That was a very good two-way fucking player. You know what I'm saying? You needed those guys. You can't win. I was in out of curiosity because I started seeing people debating about it again last night on the sit and talk, and I was like, I looked at the Kenyon Martin shit from when he was at the Nets. He was a good defender. Don't get me wrong, but he was actually the size of a power forward. He was six
Yeah.
nine, 240 above the rim. I remember watching that man. Kmart was nice. Like he was above the rim. But when they got Richard Jefferson, it changed. He wasn't the guy that he wasn't the fun little toy for Jason Kidd no more. It was Richard Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? And also, Kmart didn't have a shot. Not saying Draymond did. Not at all. But Draymond shot the three very effectively at a point of his career. You know what I'm saying? Also, Draymond is 6'6" power forward. That is unrealistic. You don't play power forward at 6'6". That's a tall shooting guard. All right. And then yes, if I was like, for example, if you and I play in the league, being that we're about 6 feet, 6'1", we have to play a little bit tough. There
Yeah.
is no way in hell neither one of us is playing shooting guard, point guard in the league and acting like playing it with finesse like we're Steph Curry. There's no fucking way. We'll get punked out there. For Draymond, that was his identity. Beef stew. That's his identity. He's not a short power forward, but he's not the average height. You know what I'm saying? But he plays tough. There was a reason why they call it power forward. Like people don't get it. It's not because you're freaking tall. It's because you're probably the bruiser. You're the big guy. You're the tough guy. You know what I'm saying? He stayed true to that game. But that's the thing with how the NBA is now. Like the casual fan does not like seeing that style of play. So they attribute that to being weak, washed, overrated, this, that, and the third. Like the IQ of that man, Draymond is insane. His IQ is just insane. And it's not to say nothing wrong about Kenyon Martin. Like he was nice, but he never attributed to like he had no accolades, bro. One All-Star game.
Yeah.
Played with great teams. He played with those championship bound Nets teams. He played with Melo.
Great teams. East was really trash back then. Great teams like the
Bro,
Warriors, like Draymond has.
they
That's
went
a
to
great
back
team.
to back chips.
The East was bad though back then. It was atrocious.
I know, but it was still back to back chips. It was still back to back chips. Let's be real.
It was back to
But
back chips.
to put it more further, he did play with Melo. He
Yeah.
played with a very good Denver Nuggets team with Melo, Chauncey, all them.
Yeah.
Did nothing happened. Nada. So he can't really, with all due respect, he can't really compare himself to Draymond. He can say whoever's better than him. There's a lot of great power forwards. They're all in the Hall of Fame, great ones. But don't sit here and tell me like AC, what was it, AC Quincy I thought I saw, or fucking Popeye Jones. Nigga, shut up. Stop it. Now you're getting crazy. Like, you're getting crazy, dog. That man got crazy. He was really trying to, man, stop. Draymond fit the role that was necessary for him. That's all that matters. At the end of the day, you can hate him or love him. It's just he played basketball to his strength. He's still in the freaking league, and he plays well for his team. They invested in him, and he lived up to his investment. That's all that fucking matters to the Golden State Warriors, and all matters to him.
Yeah.
Feeding his family, getting chips, he's successful. If you mad at that because he kicked somebody's nuts, so be it. He's not the first or last dude to do it.
Yeah, and a lot of people I see like I know a lot of people probably don't like Draymond because the way he comes off, like how he comes off so cocky and everything, and like overconfident in himself. And I'm like, honestly, that's probably why he's in the league because again, he doesn't have all these great physical attributes. He probably had to have the mentality to survive and even thrive in the league. So
These same people, these same Rodman, bro. I'm sure you remember. Remember watching Dennis Rodman when we were growing up? He was not hard to miss. Obviously,
yeah,
he was tatted up. This is before fucking Allen Iverson, tatted up like crazy, colored hair, all the antics in the world. But in our head, we knew it don't matter what he did off the court. That man was a demon on the court. That's it. We knew his. If he did anything less than 12 rebounds a game, something was wrong. You know what I'm saying? If he wanted defensive player. Like this dude was playing above. He was 6'4", bro. Dennis Rodman was 6'4", playing a big man sport. That's when the power forwards were actually bigger than these guys. Like you see Jalen Johnson at what 6'8", Horace Grant was like a freaking 18-wheeler out there in comparison to him. Dennis Rodman was really a small dude playing a big man sport.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he wasn't 6'4". He's 6'7". He's 6'7". Still small. Go
He
to
was
the
six
league
seven.
with like Shaq. The league like
Oh, he was.
Barkley's like 6'4", 6'5". But
Oh, it
like,
was
yeah, he's six
Broccoli
seven.
that was 6'4". Okay, my
Okay,
fault. Yeah, he was
yeah.
6'7", 6'7".
But still, I
Still
mean,
short.
getting like
Still short.
yeah, still
Still
short.
short for his position.
I think he led the league in rebounds 8 times. If I'm correct, I'm gonna look right now. Yep,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
7-time rebounding champ. That's crazy. You got Shaq, Akeem, David Robinson, all in the league. Alonzo Mourning.
Yeah, you feel me?
That's crazy.
And we're talking about. Remember, the East had some guys. They had the Charles Oakleys. They had the fucking
Yeah.
Horace Grants. They had the guys, man. They had the dudes that will elbow you to box you out. They weren't boxing you out. They'll elbow you. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But Dennis Rodman, he just took initiative. He knew his role. Like when a guy's playing, it's okay to be a role player in any sport.
Yeah, of course.
All the sports. It's okay to be a role player. But when you're the best at that, you should be celebrated for that. Because most kids, teenagers, college players, they're gonna come up and just become role players. That's just the reality of life. You're not gonna become Kobe Bryant. You might have the confidence of Kobe, but you're not gonna be that guy. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Just live up to your role. If you got your opportunities, you're gonna take them. You might over exceed your expectations, which is great. At the end of the day, you can't take away a man's confidence, man. That's what we got as men. Our ego and our confidence is everything. If you're trying to demasculize me because you think, you know what I'm saying, I'm doing too much, you ain't paying my bills. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I respect about Draymond at the end of the day, because he plays like a blue collar player and he's making 30 million. You know what I'm saying? But if you hate it, that's your prerogative. You could enjoy the guy who's load managing tonight. So be it. If that's your favorite player. A lot of y'all love Paul George. I love Paul George too, but a lot of y'all were talking shit about him because, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. But how you feel about that? You feel me? But nonetheless, I kept you for too long. I'm sorry, bro. But
No, good, man.
appreciate you for joining me for the pod. But give the people your plug, dog.
All right, man. So, IG at Mr. Vincent13. So on X too, or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Mr. Vincent13. The IG for my podcast is at the Mr. Vincent Pod. You can find it there. Link for my newsletter is up there too as well in the bio. And link to my YouTube page there is there too as well. So it's working.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all plug in and check out my guy newsletter. Photography. You didn't even talk about photography.
I haven't touched my camera in over a year, but I need to get back to it. I'm going to do it soon.
60 photography. It's the holiday
photo
season.
booth.
Hit my man's
Photo
up.
booth.
Yep. Photo booth. Hit my man's up if if you got holiday parties. You know what I'm saying?
Any
Like
sweet 16s,
Sweet 16,
graduations, I do it
yeah,
all.
all of them. So hit my boy up. Newsletter, podcast, not hard to find, man. But I'm gonna make sure I put your handle on the description for sure. I be forgetting. Yeah, I gotta make sure people find you. But also do us a favor. Whether you're on my pod watching or listening, or watching or listening to his, give us a like, leave a comment, share the link, and subscribe. It's really easy. It's just you just bloop. That's it. Nice and easy. Doesn't take much effort. You don't have to. You ain't gotta fuck with us no more longer than that. Just do us a favor, cause somebody gonna see us. And it's only because you did one little bit of an action. But until next time, man, we're gonna chop it up. Probably like closest to halfway to the season, cause once the halfway point comes, we'll talk more. NFL gets a little bit more attention because it's getting to the nitty gritty now. But until next time, my guy.
Yes, sir.
Salute.
Appreciate you, man.